In 2016, Tuskegee University was awarded a NEFA grant at the level of $2 million with the goal to strengthen organic farming infrastructure in the southeast. To be able to achieve this goal, we had to develop alliances. So we have been working with 4 institutions throughout the southeast. We have Auburn University, we have Alabama Sustainable Agriculture Network Group, we have Mississippi State University and North Carolina State University working with us on this project. Looking at this map, we see that we have the acreages of organic land in the US. And if you pay attention to the numbers that you see there, you can realize that the northeast, the Midwest, and the West, they have a lot of organic farmland. The total of organic farmland in the US now is about 41.5 million hectares, which is still a little bit less than 1% of the total farmland in the country. If I take the example of some of these states, you have California with over 688,000 acres. Montana, 417,000. Wisconsin, over 255,000. New York, over 253,000. North Dakota, over 186,000. Oregon, over 184,000. Colorado, over 161,000. And Texas, 160,000+ acres. Compare all that with the numbers that we see in the southeast. Depressing. And then look at Alabama, 149 only acres of organic farmers. And this could be again attributed to the region, because not only that organic farming is labor intensive, we have environmental conditions that are favorable in the southeast for insect and disease proliferation. We have disease outbreak. We have also some special need for our farmers in the region. So to be able to improve the stand of organic agriculture in the southeast, we need to pay special attention to agroecological systems. So we have to give site-specific recommendations to our organic growers so that they can use results from our research to improve their production. So the goal of the project is to give site-specific recommendations to organic growers in the southeast and to explore relationship between crop yields and geographic locations in the southeast. How did you go about this? Once the grant was funded, we recruited farmers. About 40 farmers were recruited. Those farmers were recruited in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. They have to meet specific requirements to be on the project. They had to have enough land space. They had to have irrigation system. They had to fence their production site. And they have to agree that the researchers can come at any time upon notification to visit the farm and see what is going on, and they can bring also either students or other farmers to see what is going on at their farm. In addition to that, they have to specify their interest in some crops that we are growing. We have selected 4 crops, that is squash, tomato, southern pea, and sweet potato. And we have 3 varieties of each of these crops. So they have to take one of those crops and then select varieties. And more importantly, we know that each organic grower has some challenges at their farm. That means there are some crops that they find very difficult to grow. So we want to be able to give them advice so that they can be able to produce that crop that is of interest to them. So this is the map of locations of our farmers. We have about five growers selected in Mississippi, 10 growers selected in Alabama, 5 growers selected in Georgia, 10 in North Carolina, 5 in South Carolina, and 5 in Tennessee. And you see how they are distributed throughout the Southeast. And which is the position of this farm is made strategic so that we are able to correlate or trying to develop some kind of relationship between the location of the farm and the yield that we are getting in that location, so that we can be able to develop some kind of trend or look at some trend in the performance of the varieties that we are testing. So the crops, as I said before, there were southern pea, squash, sweet potato, and tomato. 3 varieties of southern peas: Queen Anne, Mississippi Silver, Pink Eye, Purple Hull, squash, Entry, Zephyr, and Spanish Beauty. Sweet potato, we have Garnet, Orleans, and Covington. For tomatoes, we have Celebrity, Mountain Magic, and Rocky Top. So a farmer who, for instance, selects to grow southern pea has to select 2 of these 3 varieties that we have, and plus the challenging crop that we have. So those are some of the requirements of the pharmacy. So if you look at this graph, you see here the frequency of the crops that the farmers selected. Of course, the varieties that, first the 4 crops were identified by farmers, and the varieties that we are testing were suggested by organic growers in our region. So the frequency here, you see, most of the farmers are growing squash. That's their choice. We cannot, interfere with that. Followed by tomato, then sweet potato, and then southern pea. Now, these here are the crops that they all selected on their own, and those are the crops that they identify as challenging for them to grow at their farm. So you see beets, peppers, cantaloupe, cucumber taking the lead, followed by kale, watermelon, and then you have beans, lettuce, and so forth, okra, sweet corn, as the last choice for these farmers. So now let's look at some of the results. The results that I'm going to present today are not final results, but these are results obtained in 2019. And of course, we have not finished collecting all the data log where farmers group their the yield information and send it to us. Once we get those, we work on those, we work with the data logs, and then we can extrapolate the yield from the weight of those yield that the farmer sent us. So, this is the map of the Southeast, and you see here we have some missing points here. It means that either in that state no one selected that crop and variety, or we don't have the data logger from the farmer yet. So that's why you're going to see some of that. But for the result that we have here, we see some beginning interesting trends. We have the three varieties that you see here: Orleans, Garnet, and Covington. And we get the highest yield coming from Covington and Orleans in northwest Tennessee. We have 26.3 for the Covington variety and 20.2 for the Orleans variety. If we go south, at least preliminary, we see that the yield has dropped for Covington and for Orleans. When you are going also east, you see there is a drop here, all the way here, but here we see some not too bad results for Garnet, 19.8, and for Covington, 18.0 ton per acre. So the trend for the sweet potato is completely different from what we see for the next crop. So the next crop is going to be for tomato. Tomato, again, we have some BC data for the time being, but we have a trend also here. Look at in North Carolina here. We go all the way to 49.1 tons per acre, and for the Rocky Top, and then we have 34.6 for the mountain range. Coming to the south again, we have a drop in this yield, and going to the west also. That's what we are seeing. For southern peas, if you are not surprised, I am surprised. Because looking at the very low yield reported. Why is that? We have, in our own experiment station at Tuskegee University, for instance, we couldn't harvest our southern peas. Why? Because the crop has been devastated by Kpomblekou, and we were not able to harvest anything. So I suspect that that's the same thing that we see at these farms, because the yield are very, very low. Squash. Remember that squash is the one that the growers selected the most. And you see again here how the squash yield is projected in the region. We have a lot of growers in East Carolina or West Carolina who selected squash. But again, the yield is not that high. But if you come to Georgia here, we see yield of 33.9 and 32.9 for Sprinus Beauty and 33.9 for the Gentry variety. In Alabama, again, here we have a low yield, but in central Alabama here, we have a higher yield for Sprinus Beauty and for Zephyr. I want to draw your attention to the fact that not all these low yields are necessarily related to the location. It's very important to recognize that some of our farmers are not very good at keeping research data or following instructions that are given to them. We noticed that specifically in in Alabama and Mississippi. Farmers, they need really good training because collecting research data for the purpose of research is not easy. Some farmers are dedicated, some others are not. So we have to, for this last year, we have to really pay attention to what is happening in the place there. So at the end of this is going to be the last year. At the end of this last year, we will be able to, in combination of the pesticide trials that we are also doing, and one of my colleagues is going to talk about that trial today. With those yield data and the pesticide trial, we should be able to give some strong recommendations to our growers based on their location. Thank you. Do I have any time for questions?